Yo, what's good everybody? My name is Jay Fatty. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about adding filters and phasing effects in your beats to get some sauce, okay? So let's get right into it. All filtering is cutting the frequencies in and out in specific ways. There's a few ways you can do it, and I'll visually show you what it looks like. So if we just pull up an EQ2 here, let's listen to this beat before we mess with any filtering. So you got low pass, high pass, and band pass filters. I'm gonna show you what those look like. If I just go to the 7th band here and right click this, let's start with a high pass. It's in the name. It's gonna pass on the highs and take out the low frequencies. If we click it, boom, that's all it is. And it could be a solid wall like this too. It doesn't matter how much tension there is. It's just the act of taking those low frequencies out, and when you sweep it, that's a filter sweep is what they call it. And it sounds something like this. Now obviously if you kept doing that constantly throughout the beat, especially for a beat like this, it would get stagnant and annoying, but adding little spots and moments with just some filters, or maybe cutting the filters out right before a drop, can really add extra sauce to your beats. All right, so now let's right click this on, let's do low pass. It's the same idea, but it's just the opposite. It's going to leave the lows and take out the highs. And then you got both a high pass and a low pass together, which is just a band pass, and it looks like this. So just understanding filters, you can add some serious sauce. A lot of tracks just have a filter sweep going on, and that's what's creating a lot of movement in the beat. So don't be sleeping on that. Now there are a bunch of different ways to add filters. I just had the parametric EQ2 up to show you visually what a filter is doing. We're going to use Fruity Love Filter here in a minute after we talk about phasing, and that's, in my opinion, the best way to add filters to your beats. But next, phasing, or a phaser effect, is essentially going to change the waveforms in a way where it's adding depth and movement to the track, okay? And it can sound really dope, but you can overdo it very easily. So let me give you an example of what phasing sounds like. So here's a default FL Studio plugin called Vintage Phaser. I'm gonna bring the min up and the max down, feedback up a little bit, and let's mess with this left-right phase, mess with the tension, and mess with the start phase a little bit, bring the speed up a little bit. Let's just hear how this sounds now. You hear how it's giving that depth and that movement, but it's also could make it sound a little thin. In this case, it is sounding a little thin just because of how the phasing works, all right? There's a thing called phase cancellation, where it's essentially the waveforms and the angle of the phase, they're out of sync, and it makes it sound, thin. But the opposite can happen where they're in sync and it enhances the sound. You got to really kind of just mess with the phasing if you're going to add it, and if you like how it sounds, keep it, but keep that in mind that it can manipulate the beat in a negative way. But the best of both worlds is Fruity Love Filter. So if we add that on, there's a preset in here called PC Low Pass plus Phaser. It's a low pass and a phaser effect on it. If we just listen to the default preset without messing with any of the settings, you can hear how that already adds just a bunch of flavor, movement, and it gives it a trippy vibe, which I really like in my beats. And it gives it kind of a 70s vibe, and a lot of warmth, and just kind of that old 70s, 80s vinyl sound, and I really like that. All right, so Fruity Love Filter has a plethora of settings you can mess with to change how the filter acts, change the way the frequencies sound. You can mess with the LFO amount in a certain way. It gets very, very complex, but essentially all you really got to know, for if you're just using it for something like this, is you got your knobs here for your cutoff and your resonance. So if we mess with those, you can hear how that's affecting the filtering. So you can see there, you can definitely get some sauce with those knobs. And even more, over here you have a modulation graph. This is modulating the whole effect, so you can automate this and get some crazy patterns. Let's mess with it so you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, come on, that's just fire right there. Moving it around and doing that real quick movement added that vibration in the sound, and I thought it sounded beautiful. You know, it really, really adds some warmth and flavor. So don't be sleeping on Fruity Love Filter. Now, you can easily automate these in. If you want to have a movement track like that, you can automate it in. I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, let's create an empty pattern and drag it out. So let's just drag it out to about the whole beat. We won't probably record the whole way, but let's just record in some of that movement. Now all we got to do is go up here to the recording button, right click, make sure notes and automation is on, and left click and hit play and just record all that in. It's going to record it right into that pattern. And as you can see there, it recorded it into that pattern, and all you got to do is just chop out the excess that you don't want. Boom. Now what I would also recommend is if you don't want that filter to go on through the whole beat, go up on the black bar, right click and drag to highlight the area that you want the automation only, and then bring the mix knob down on the Fruity Love Filter, right click, create automation clip, and you can right click some points in. Or something like this, and that'll just create an automation clip for the effect, just so FL Studio only has it in that one spot. You can do that same process with just low pass, high pass, or band pass filters inside Fruity Love Filter. If you go to presets and let's just go to simple low pass, this doesn't have the phaser effect, it's just a low pass. Let's manipulate the cutoff and resonance. Right when it drops into the chorus, we want it to go into that low pass and then ease back into all the frequencies. It'll just give it some extra sauce. And same thing, right click on the recording button, make sure it's on notes and automation, left click to arm it. Now I could just automate the cutoff like this. But if you just need something simple, you can automate just the mix knob. So you'll put your cutoff and resonance where you want it, like this. We want it to start there. All we're going to do is just right click on the black bar and highlight this area, and then we'll just bring the mix knob down on the Fruity Love Filter. We'll just have it do something like this. Let's see, bring this up a little bit. We'll have it start, so it's starting with the cutoff and resonance, and then it's just going to ease out. So it's pretty much acting like we're automating that cutoff knob. It's just another way to do it, because technically if you did automate the cutoff knob, you would still have to automate the mix knob, because the effect might play at parts that you don't want it to play at. So just like that, you can really get some sauce with filtering and phasing effects. I'm adding Fruity Love Filter pretty much on every single beat, especially these boom bap beats that I be making. I really want them to have that warm sound, and it, like I said, it gives it some sauce and a lot of depth and movement. So don't be sleeping on that. If this video brought you value, make sure you leave a like, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell. I appreciate any support, y'all. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see next in FL Studio. I'd really appreciate that too. Make sure you stay safe, stay striving, and always be getting it. Much love, y'all. Peace.